Hi guys, my name is Dmitry Bulatov. I'm from St. P in Russia, and I'm going to tell you how to boost your website loading speed, how to reduce the loading time. Frankly speaking, it's my first English video in English, I don't know, and I have a small disclaimer at the very start. I have to add a small disclaimer at the very start. English is not my native language, therefore please don't judge me so strictly if I made some grammar or pronunciation mistake. I'll do my best and hope you will assess it in the right way. And if you don't understand something or have to clarify something, all you have to do is to make up your comment in the comment section. I'll try to help you, try to describe it more clear. If okay, let's start. Do you know it's really important to improve your website speed, because if you're talking about Google, it is one of the significant part of the list how Google assesses different websites in the internet. So how it ranks website. So from the very start of your development, you have to make up the easiest system how to make your prospective website, how to make its loading speed quite, you have to design a quick-fire website that will load really fast. And here we have our sample, our patient bvdshop.ru. It is the website of my friend who is an entrepreneur. He has an e-commerce, so he offers different electric vehicles, not Tesla, but different scooters, hoverboards, and their front goods are vehicles for kids with electric engines. So it's really good. For instance, if father have his Geländewagen, he could buy something smaller for his child. It's quite convenient. Well, I developed this site, but when I did it, I have a lack of experience in some spheres, and I don't know how to use latest technologies offered by Google, for instance, how to improve how to improve loading speed. And now we decided to to rebuild, to redesign, I don't know, to redevelop some parts of this site to attain the biggest speed, loading speed, to attain big loading speed. So I have to show you what we had and what we received after our improvement. So we have a couple of different templates. Take the first one. It is the result of Google Page Speed Insight. It is the category page. So we had 25%. We're talking about the mobile devices. I suppose in desktop we had maybe 50% in this case, maybe 60%, but it's not quite good, not quite well. So we have a couple of problems. Google offered to postpone loading of some useless CSS, and we have to. It offered to set in appropriate sizes for images and to use modern formats like WebP, maybe JPEG 2000, and so on. Let's have a look to product page. So we have the same result, 24, at least approximately same result, 24%. Not quite well. the same problems, but we have some extra problems, some extra content. We have to deal with some resources that had blocked loading of content. What does it mean? For instance, how browser works. If it loads some information, for instance, your web page, so it receives the page itself, then it parses it, and for instance find a link for your style sheet. And while the browser is downloading this CSS file, the user see a white screen. Doesn't really happen. Nothing really happens, and it's a problem. There are a couple of advice. There is a bit of advice that Google offered to web developers, and I suppose the most convenient implementation is to highlight, to take some crucial rules from your CSS file and to include it into the body of the page, not in the external file, but into the body of the page. And the other rules you have to load after the page is loaded. It's really convenient, it has sense, and I decided to use it in our example. So what we had in result after all our improvement had been done. So take a look on the category. We have 66%, twice better, maybe 3 times better. We have no serious problem. Yes, there are some minor recommendation, but to improve it, we have to completely use the completely another approach for the development of website. We have to avoid some extra libraries like jQuery. I suppose it's not popular to use jQuery in web development nowadays, but when I developed this website, I used it. Now I try to avoid jQuery because browser had good, so browser improved and you don't have to use it. I'm talking about jQuery. Okay, product page, 57%. It was 24 and now 57. There are some recommendations, but not bad. Only and 97 if you're talking about the desktop. And category page, 99. Good. At the main page, 66% against 54. Not bad. And 100% for desktop devices. It's really, I suppose it's a stunning result. And let's, I'm going to show you how you can to attain this result in your project. What you have to do. First of all, first and foremost, I changed the front-end approach for web development. I'm talking about the way how to deal with your CSS styles, scripts, and so on. I used gulp. Gulp is a really awesome system for building projects. It has a vast number of different plugins, so you can minify your style sheets and JavaScript files. You can to alleviate your web development process. It's really useful. It's really useful. Strongly recommend you to take a look to this system. So what I had, I took the whole CSS file, all styles was in one file. Take the product page or category page. If we have some section of our site that you can find on product page, for instance, take some product for Ranger. We have this block, this section. There we can say gallery, some some pluses of some benefits of the shop, different ways how to purchase the product, price, different modifications, and offer section. And this section, you can find this section only on the product pages, but not in the category template. But the previous approach, every user had to download the whole style, the whole file with the CSS rules, and even if we have we don't have some rules, we don't have to use some rules in the category page, we have to download the whole CSS file. And to avoid it, I decided to make up separate files for every template. And gulp is really useful in this case because you can make up some separate files for different chunks, like for articles, for cart, for category, catalog, and so on. Maybe you can make up you can create some base files with a base set of styles, for instance, some like font styles, maybe some common styles, rules, and so on. And then you can make up some rules, how to build it. And what we have a result. Here is a production catalog. We have a set of files for each template. Take, for instance, category template. We have category styles.category base.min.css and others CSS. What does it mean? We have the crucial rules, so-called crucial CSS, and there we have some other rules that are not crucial. What does it mean? Crucial. If talking about CSS, it means the set of rules, the CSS rules, that have to be downloaded at the very start. We don't have a chance to postpone its loading. So here we have in base, we have a set of rules for different templates that have to be downloaded firstly, urgently. So I decided to build this rule into the body of the document. So if we look at the code, we could see the set of rules here in the code. We don't have to follow the specific reference link. We have all crucial CSS right in the body of the document. It depends on the different documents. For instance, in category we have to include many rules, and therefore the crucial set of styles is really vast. And then we have other rules that browser will download after the whole page will be loaded. It's really useful, convenient, and you can highlight the appropriate set of rules and to put it into the base crucial CSS. We have the rel preload attribute. It means that if browser understands this attribute, it downloads this file after the page. So this downloaded this file it doesn't blocks the page. So a user doesn't see the white screen, and if the browser doesn't understand this rule, we have no script here, so it downloads these rules in the other way if the JavaScript is disabled. But if browser doesn't understand, we have a small polyfill that imitates the built-in modern browser system to understand preload attribute. Okay, and now we have a set of different files and how it works in backend side. Have a look. I use Modix contact manager framework in all my projects, and we have a template for main page, and we have a short snippet load CSS. Here we have critical part and uncritical part. What does it mean? If you're talking about critical part, it is the set of rules that should be built into the page, and here we have others rules that have to be loaded after the page is loaded, or maybe while it's loaded via rel preload tag. And we could look to this script, how it works. It's quite easy. All you have to do is some easiest PHP rules. So we have an address for our critical and uncritical part. Talking about critical, we have to use file get contents PHP function. So we take this content and we put it, and then when the CMS parse the content, it pastes all this set of CSS rules right into the page. And if we take a look to other templates, we can see that they all have different links appropriate to the template. Here we have blog base, blog others. For instance, take a product card. So here we have product base, product others, and so on. And you can find an extra snippet, load scripts. What does it mean? Let's go further and we will see. So okay, now we have to deal with the weight of our images, because it is a really big concern for every site. We have to use appropriate sizes for every image. And how to do this? How to tackle this problem? Well, there is a really useful and really good HTML tag. It calls picture and some extra tags, for instance, source. Let's have a look to some image. We have an image, take image, and there is a vast number of some extra tags like source, and we see that it has they have some conditions. Like, what does this mean? If you use text source, it's like you can for instance, you can take some you can load some images, some specific images according to some conditions, like the width of the browser. Take this rule. If the max width of the browser is 479, so browser has to download this image. If it understands WebP technology. If it doesn't, so it has to download JPEG. And via this tag, picture and text source, we can set this rule for every image. So I use this approach for all images here and in product page and so on. But there is still a really serious problem with with loading of images. For instance, if user surf and he or she opens the website and he finds out something interesting here, but he or she doesn't want to scroll down, the browser still has to download whole content, whole images. For instance, here we have 50 images only in the gallery, and moreover we have some extra images below, some images like video posters, and here some recommendation accessories, theme gallery. There is a vast number of images, and we have to postpone loading of these images somehow. And there is a good implementation, a good approach for this, and it method called lazy loading. I use lazy sizes. It is a plugin that is recommended by Google. I paste the link below the video. So it is the modern approach that uses some modern technologies and have a polyfill for the oldest browsers. And how it works? Take a look to network panel in the developer instruments. So we can see that some files have downloaded, and then, for instance, we could scroll some pictures, and we could see that these pictures are downloaded when we scroll the gallery, or we have to scroll the page. We could see that some results have been downloaded right after we've scrolled for this section. And then the same situation. Or we can have a look to the category page. The same situation. We scroll down and some new images have been downloaded. If we change the view of the page via IX, so some new resources have been downloaded. It's really useful. I really recommend it to you, because this plugin has built-in, so it understands if you use some Ajax technologies, some gallery sliders and so on. You don't have to program to develop some some extra snippets to use it. It's really convenient. So as a result, I have to admit that it's really important to follow Google recommendations. They are really important, significant, I suppose, nowadays. And there we've just discussed some useful solutions, how to do this. The first one, you have to separate your style sheets. You have to minimize it via some systems like Gulp or Grunt. It's up to you. And you have to use some latest images formats. For instance, use WebP for Google Chrome's users and use JPEG for those who use Safari or Firefox and older browser and old browser. So, moreover, you can use lazy loading systems like some plugins like lazy sizes. It's really convenient. In this case, you can help to reduce plenty of traffic, especially it is crucial. It's vital for mobile users like cell phones and tablets, because this approach saves battery lifetime and saves traffic as well. Well, thank you for listening. Thank you for your time and consideration. Thank you for your time. And if you have some extra questions, please comment this video. As I said before, if something not really, if you don't understand something, please fill in the comment form. Write down your questions. I'll try to answer it, and I will leave some links for this plugin lazy load and for an article by Google author where you can find some explanation of the lazy loading approach. So stay great, have a good time, and really good personal projects. Bye.